Cloves water has been used for generations and now by so many people to grow longer, thicker, healthier hair. And if you've been making cloves water without seeing results, it's definitely not the clove water but how you've been making and using it on your hair. And that's why in this video, I'll be sharing all the secrets you need to know about how to use cloves water for insane hair growth. Starting from how to make cloves water correctly and how to use it on your hair the right way, and also the mistakes to avoid that's probably hindered your results, so you finally get to experience the mind-blowing results you've been seeing a lot of people post about cloves water. Make sure you don't skip any part of this video because I'll be sharing everything you need to know on how to use cloves water the right way. And before we get started, don't forget to hit the like button below and give this video a big thumbs up so it can reach more people looking for this kind of hair growth remedy. Cloves are powerful ancient spice that has been used for centuries by women in different parts of the world, including many Asian and Indian communities, as part of their traditional hair care routines. And today, cloves is so popular in the hair growth community because of how effective they help support a healthier and faster growth. They contain naturally occurring compounds such as eugenol, along with antioxidants and other plant compounds that have made them a valued ingredient in traditional beauty practices for generations. And these compounds help support a healthy scalp environment, which is an important foundation when it comes to a healthy hair. And that is one of the biggest reasons why cloves water has remained a favorite homemade treatment for generations and continues to be used by so many people today to grow their hair longer, thicker and healthy. So I started by adding 3 tablespoons of cloves and about 2 cups of water into my pot. And now I'm going to bring it to a gentle boil and let it simmer. When making effective cloves water, it's very important to be balanced with your measurements. A lot of people think that using more cloves will give them better or faster results, while others use so much water which ends up diluting the mixture. Making a well-balanced infusion is the goal, so try as much as possible to use the right ratio of cloves to water, as this is going to help you prepare a consistent mixture without going overboard. At this point, I'll be adding a few dried hibiscus buds for some extra hair care benefits. But this ingredient is completely optional, so if you don't have hibiscus, you can simply skip it and continue with just the cloves. Hibiscus are rich in antioxidants and plant compounds, and I love the way it leaves the hair softer. And that's one of the reasons I love to add it into this cloves water. And like I said, hibiscus isn't a must-have for this recipe. Cloves water works perfectly well on its own, so don't feel like you need to add it if you don't have it. Now I'll allow this to simmer for about 5 minutes. Avoid boiling this aggressively or overcooking it. A gentle simmer is all you need to allow the cloves and the hibiscus to slowly infuse into the water. And boiling this too hard for too long does not necessarily and won't automatically make it more effective. After about 5 minutes, I turned off the heat, covered the pot with a lid, and I allowed this mixture to steep for about 3 to 8 hours. You can even leave this to steep overnight if that's more convenient for you. Allowing this to sit for a few hours gives this ingredient more time to continue infusing into the water as it cools naturally. Within these few hours of sitting, it's going to help extract more of their compounds and gives you a more richer and more fragrant infusion. And after that, you're going to strain this using a cheesecloth, a fine mesh strainer, or even a clean stockings if that's what you have. Now don't skip this next step, especially if you're making just cloves water. I'll be adding a little glycerin because cloves water is water-based and some people find their hair feels dry if they use it without following up with enough moisture. So glycerin is a humectant, which means it helps attract and retain moisture in the hair, leaving it feeling softer and more hydrated. Little glycerin goes a long way, so I added about half a tablespoon of glycerin. Then I went ahead to stir this in order to mix it up properly. And now I'm going to transfer this into my applicator bottle just for easy application. And now that I've shown you how to prepare cloves water the right way, let me show you how to use it correctly along with some common mistakes you should avoid. Remember, making an effective homemade remedy is only one part of the process. How you use it, how consistent you are, and how well you care for your hair afterwards are what makes the biggest difference. So before you start spraying it on your hair, let's go over to the proper way to use cloves water so you can get the best out of it and avoid the mistakes that may have been holding you back from seeing the result that you want. This right here could be your answer to a much healthier hair, especially if you are struggling with slow hair growth, constant breakage, excessive shedding, thinning edges, or dry itchy scalp, or maybe hair that doesn't seem to grow past a certain length. This cloves water can help support a healthier scalp and create a better environment for a healthier hair growth. The best way to use cloves water is as a leave-in treatment, which means once you've applied it, there is no need to rinse it out. This way, it gets to stay on your scalp and your hair for longer. One of the great things about cloves water is the fact that it's suitable for all hair types. Whether your hair is natural, relaxed, transitioning, color treated, in locks, braided, or even under a protective style, as long as it has an easy scalp access, you can include it in your hair care routine. To use it, simply section your hair to expose your scalp, then lightly spray or apply the cloves water directly onto your scalp. And if you like, you can also apply it through the length of your hair. Don't drench your hair. A light, even application is all you need. Most people miss this next step, which is massaging your scalp after applying cloves water, and this might be one of the reasons why you're not seeing results. After applying your cloves water, it's always advised to massage your scalp for about 2 to 5 minutes, as this is going to help the mixture to distribute evenly on your scalp and penetrate deeper into your follicles. And after applying my cloves water, I follow up with my leave-in conditioner, then sealing with a hair grease. This is one of the mistakes I see all the time. Most people spray cloves water on their hair and leave it at that. Remember, cloves water is mostly water, so when it evaporates, your hair can lose moisture if you don't follow up with a suitable leave-in conditioner, cream, or a light oil, depending on what works for your hair. For best results, use at least 3 to 4 times in a week. I see some people who use cloves water on their hair 6 to 7 times in a single day, just because they believe that applying it more often and several times in a day is what is going to give them the results. But staying consistent is what actually does. So because this treatment does not contain any preservative, make sure to store in the refrigerator and discard if it changes in smell or color. And finally, don't fall into the trap of constantly jumping from one DIY recipe to another every single week, because your hair doesn't need a new miracle every weekend. It needs consistency. Just choose a routine that works for you, stick with it, treat your hair gently, and keep your scalp clean. Moisturize your hair, protect your ends, and be patient. If you learned something new, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and let me know the mistakes you've been making with cloves water. Thank you so much for watching. See you on my next one. Bye.